I'm worried Sullivan's Crossing Season 4 is going to repeat a romantic trope it already overused. Have you ever fallen in love with a show, only to feel betrayed when it doubled down on the one plotline you begged it to leave behind? Yeah. Same. And that's exactly where I'm at with Sullivan's Crossing. Because just when we thought Season 3 had finally given Maggie and Cal their moment, just when it looked like peace was finally possible, bam! Out of nowhere, we get Liam, the summer fling, turned secret husband. Wait, what? Since when do flings come with wedding vows? And more importantly, why is Sullivan's Crossing doing this again? We already survived the Maggie, Cal Andrew love triangle. We already suffered through drag it out, well they won't, they drama that felt more like emotional warfare than romantic tension. So why? Why? Is Season 4 setting us up to relive that pain again? Call it déjà vu, call it recycled romance. But this feels personal. And you know what? I'm not just annoyed, I'm worried. Worried that Sullivan's Crossing is about to repeat its most overused, most exhausting, most divisive romantic trope, all over again. And if you've been watching this show since Season 1, you know exactly what I mean. So, grab a tea or a whiskey, because this is gonna be a messy breakdown. But first, quick question, do you still ship Maggie and Cal? Or have the love triangles officially ruined it for you? Tell me in the comments, because I know I'm not alone on this one. And hey, if you're tired of shows messing with your favorite couples for the sake of drama, you belong here. So smash that subscribe button to join the Breakdown Epic family, where we expose the secrets, decode the patterns, and go way deeper than the surface fluff. Alright, let's dig in. Let's start with the obvious. Season 3 ended with an emotional gut punch and then a cheap magic trick. Maggie performs life-saving brain surgery. She reconciles with Cal. They share this long overdue moment of peace. It's heartfelt, it's beautiful. You almost feel like, finally, they've made it. Then, boom. Hi, I'm Liam, Maggie's husband. Sorry, since when does your ex-fling suddenly become your husband? That's not a twist. That's narrative whiplash. That's the writers literally gaslighting the audience and calling it plot development. Let's not pretend this is new. The love triangle between Cal, Maggie, and Andrew already overstayed its welcome by at least a season and a half. We saw Maggie bounce between them like she was in a CW version of The Bachelor. We waited years for her to finally choose, only for the writers to stall again. By the time Maggie and Cal did end up together, the romance had lost its magic. Not because we didn't care, but because we were emotionally exhausted. It took too long, it tried too hard, and now they're doing it again. Look, I get it, this show is a romantic drama. Love triangles are part of the DNA. But here's the thing. When you use the same trope more than once, when it stops surprising your audience and starts annoying them, that's not drama anymore. That's lazy storytelling. And you know what's worse? The writers are treating Liam like some mysterious wildcard. But this isn't mystery, it's misdirection. They're building up a twist that doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel real. It feels like déjà vu with worse stakes. Because at least with Andrew, we knew the tension, we saw the history. We could buy into the triangle. With Liam, we didn't even know this guy existed until the finale. Now suddenly, he's Maggie's husband. Sullivan's Crossing is addicted to emotional sabotage. That's right. Every time the characters find stability, the writers pull the rug out. And why? Because stability isn't dramatic. Because happy couples don't make headlines. So what do they do instead? They create chaos. Manufactured conflict. They make Maggie the emotional pong ball of Timberlake. But here's where it gets dark. The forbidden knowledge is that this isn't just about Maggie or Cal. This is about viewer manipulation. You see, when a show like Sullivan's Crossing relies too heavily on romantic triangles, it's not because they don't have other stories to tell. It's because they don't trust us to stay engaged otherwise. They don't believe we'll tune in to watch Sully reconnect with his roots in Ireland. They don't think we care about Edna's slow recovery. They don't think you'll watch, unless someone's heart is breaking. So they go back to the oldest trick in the CW playbook: the surprise lover, the secret spouse, the emotional betrayal. And here's the real kicker, it works. It keeps people talking. Because even now, even in this moment, you and I, we're still talking about it. That's the trap. That's the game. But if you look closer, really look, you'll see the pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If Maggie had really married Liam, don't you think we would have heard about it before the season finale? Like, hello! How do you forget you have a husband? Did he just evaporate during every major life crisis? Honestly, this feels like something out of a telenovela. And if I'm being dramatic, well, so is the show. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if Season 4 opens with Maggie waking up in a cold sweat screaming, "I'm married WHO." But seriously, do you buy the Liam twist? Or do you think this is just another Andrew 2.0 situation? Drop a comment. I read all of them, even the ones roasting me for being too Team Cal. Yes, Trevor from last week. I saw your essay. And no, I'm not sorry. Also, if you've been watching Breakdown Epic for a while, you know we've talked about recycled romance plots before. Remember that Heartland arc that just wouldn't die? Yeah, this is giving serious flashbacks. Too many triangles, not enough character arcs. But hey, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I just want too much from my fictional love stories, like consistency, logic, memory retention. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about romance, it's about character growth. And the real question we need to ask is, what happens to Maggie if Sullivan's Crossing keeps forcing her into recycled love triangles? Because listen, Maggie Sullivan is not a ping pong ball. She's a surgeon, a daughter, a deeply layered woman recovering from career collapse, legal scandal and generational trauma. And what do the writers do? Instead of letting her evolve, they reset her. Back to square one, back to being defined by whichever man walks into her life next. First Andrew, then Cal, now Liam. What's next? A mysterious twin from med school who faked his death in a car crash and now wants custody of her emotions. Season 1, she's trying to rebuild after her medical career implodes. Season 2, she's emotionally torn between past and present, trying to find solid ground. Season 3, she finally finds purpose again, performs a literal miracle on Edna, and reclaims her power. Then poof, Liam shows up, and everything stops being about who Maggie is and starts being about who she loves. It's subtle but dangerous. It's the romantic trap that ruins so many female protagonists. When their character arc gets swallowed whole by romance, they stop becoming people and start becoming trophies. And don't get me wrong, I love a good love story. Give me longing gazes and misty dockside kisses all day. But when that's all she's given, when every plot twist is designed to derail her instead of develop her, that's not romance. That's emotional erasure. Do you remember how powerful Sully's arc felt in Season 3? The moment he finally left Timberlake, went to Ireland, faced his grief, his aging, his isolation. That storyline had no triangle, no secret ex-lovers, no dramatic flashbacks. It was just a man growing, healing, moving forward. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had someone in your life who kept dragging you backward, just when you were starting to move forward? Think about that feeling. The frustration, the helplessness, the pure exhaustion of trying to rise, only to get yanked back down by a version of yourself you no longer want to be. That's Maggie right now. She's this close to breaking through. And suddenly, boom, a guy from her past pops in with a ring and a secret. It's not drama. It's emotional sabotage disguised as character tension. It's trauma dressed up in nostalgia. And if this show really wanted to grow with Maggie, it would let her look Liam in the face and say, "I'm not yours anymore. I'm not her anymore." Now that's power. That's the arc we deserve. If you were in Maggie's shoes, would you confront Liam? Would you give him a chance to explain? Or would you pull a full-on CW mech drop and walk away without saying a word? Tell me in the comments. And don't hold back. I want real answers, real emotions, because this is therapy now. Group therapy, breakdown epic style. Also, just a quick shout out to everyone who commented last week with your top 3 most annoying romance tropes. Yes, Brenda, secret baby who ages off screen, was Goal and Michael. I agree, childhood friend turns evil, is emotionally illegal. We need to make a list of forbidden TV tropes. At this point, comment yours and we'll do a video deep dive just roasting the worst offenders. Should I wear a fake CW writer hoodie while we do it? But seriously, let's entertain a terrifying hypothetical. What if Liam isn't just a random twist? What if he's meant to stick around? What if Sullivan's Crossing Season 4 sets up a full-blown custody battle over Maggie's heart? What if Maggie finds out the marriage was never legally annulled? The Liam blackmails her into staying quiet about something from her past. Cal walks away again, believing he's not enough for her new life. Now you've got emotional chess pieces everywhere, and not in a fun, dramatic way, in a frustrating scream into a pillow kind of way. Because no matter how good Chad Michael Murray looks under soft lighting, Cal's arc deserves more than being the emotionally available doormat again. And Maggie, she deserves a storyline that's not defined by plot twists and suits. Audiences are smart, they remember, and when you give them the same twist twice, they check out. We're already seeing signs. Reddit threads lighting up with, "Oh, not this again." Fan theories more focused on timeline errors than actual plot predictions. And that one post titled, "Maggie Sullivan needs an attorney, not a husband," got way more likes than expected. The point is we want more. We want new. We want Maggie to evolve, not rewind. But if the writers can't resist the triangle trap, they're not just hurting one character, they're risking the entire show. Let me say something wild. If Sullivan's Crossing doesn't course correct in Season 4, it might go down the same rabbit hole that took out half the CW lineup in the past 5 years. Think about it. Ever heard of Heart of Dixie, Jane the Virgin, Riverdale? Each started strong sharp, with clear themes and lovable characters, but eventually, they got greedy with their triangles. Romance stopped being a spark, and became a circus. They didn't trust their main couples. They didn't trust their own stories. So they doubled down on chaos. And guess what? Audiences bailed. It's like they thought heartbreak is the only thing that keeps viewers watching. But heartbreak without growth, that's not drama. That's emotional spam. Let me give it to you straight. Dear Sullivan's Crossing is showing signs of CW syndrome. That's when a show recycles emotional arcs, introduces random characters for short-term chaos, ignores long-term character growth for short-term Twitter engagement, and worst of all, loses its own heart. And guess what always comes next? Sudden cancellation, angry finales, the dreaded "we never got closure" posts on fan forums. And you know we've been here before. So ask yourself, is Sullivan's Crossing building toward an emotional payoff? Or is it stalling with recycled conflict to keep you watching until they can figure out what to do next? Because there's a difference between slow burn and burned out. Hasopishiesthury, uche tirinel snivir Alright, time for one of my personal theories, and it's controversial. But hey, this is Breakdown Epic. We go there. Love triangles never die, because they're a writer's emotional safety net. Think about it. You've got character A, character B, and character C. Anytime the story stalls, you just break up A and B, pair A with C, create jealousy, and B if he, emotional monologue, repeat. It's like emotional algebra. Safe, predictable, and sometimes lazy. No, I'm not saying every triangle is bad. There are iconic ones. Looking at you, Elena, Stefan, Damon, but in Sullivan's Crossing, the Andrew arc already stretched credibility. And Liam is just Andrew 2.0, except somehow with less development. So what are we even doing here? Hedi ipar sharatar resk? Medizi hysat sticky. Now let's talk real impact. Because the danger here isn't just another tired love triangle. It's what this does to Maggie Sullivan's legacy. Right now, she has the bones of a phenomenal arc, from disgraced neurosurgeon, to small-town healer, to emotionally resilient daughter and partner. But every time the story resets her back to romantic confusion, we lose all that development. And what's worse, younger viewers, the ones discovering this show on streaming years later, they won't remember the growth. They'll just see her as another woman in another triangle. And honestly, that's tragic. Because Maggie is so much more than that. She's not a placeholder. So here's what the writers should do. And I say this with love, but also with a little drama, because we're in CW territory now. Give Maggie a solo arc in season 4. Not solo while torn between two men. I mean truly solo. Reconnect with her surgical identity on her own terms. Wrestle with the trauma of Edna's surgery and its aftermath. Travel. Maybe Ireland like Sully. To reclaim herself, mentor a younger doctor, who reminds her of who she used to be. And only Tieshan. When she's grounded in her own story, reintroduce romance. If it has to be Liam, fine. But only if it reveals something new about her. Not more triangles. Not more tug of war. Because the Maggie we deserve, she doesn't need saving. She needs space to rise. Maggie finds out Liam lied. Their marriage wasn't legal. She confronts him, not with tears, but with clarity. You were a fling, not my future. Cal sees it all, and instead of reacting with jealousy, he says, I trust you, but I won't wait in the wings again. Maggie is forced to face her own pattern, always choosing chaos over peace. Boom. Now we've got character evolution. Now we've got depth. Or this, but Liam is introduced, but not as a threat, as a mirror. Someone who represents who Maggie used to be. Their tension isn't romantic. It's existential. He reminds her of the old life she's trying to let go of, and suddenly, we're watching her grow. Not just romantically, but spiritually. That's what season 4 could be. And okay, maybe I'm being dramatic. Maybe I've been burned too many times. Maybe I'm still emotionally recovering from the Gilmore Girls revival, and projecting my unresolved triangle trauma onto Maggie. But still, USEEAT, or EHT. I can't be the only one sitting here like, if I see one more CW character pick the wrong guy again, I'm gonna throw my remote into a lake. I also slight roast for the writers. If Liam suddenly gets a tragic backstory involving a dead dog, a lost passport, and a broken promise ring, I'm out. I will start a petition. If I'll let Maggie breathe, so let's put it to the community. You ready for this? THE Bido on EPI Kanji, drop a comment below answering this. Should Liam stay or go in season 4? Team Liam. Let's see what he's made of. Team Diletti. This plotline never should have existed. Team Cal or Chaos. If it ain't Cal, I riot. I'll be shouting out the funniest comments in next week's video. Bonus points if you meme your answer. Don't tempt me to Photoshop Liam into a wedding registry at Dollar Tree. So here's where we are. Season 4 is coming. Liam is real. And the triangle trap is active again. But you and I, we see the pattern. We've decoded the formula. Now we're asking the hard question. Will Sullivan's Crossing break its own cycle? Or will it let its best character become another casualty of TV trope addiction? Because once a show chooses chaos over closure, it's hard to come back. But it's not too late. Not yet. Let's not pretend it's just another season. No. Sullivan's Crossing Season 4 is the line in the sand. The season that will either elevate this show into something timeless, or sink it into the swamp of forgettable network dramas that didn't know when to stop reusing the same emotional grenade. Because you know what's scarier than a recycled love triangle? A wasted potential. And Maggie Sullivan, she's not just the lead. She's the soul of this story. If they flatten her journey again, for another, I'm torn between two men, arc, if they make Liam more of a plot, let me drop the last piece of forbidden knowledge here. Are you ready? We don't want the same story with a new haircut. Writers think they can sneak in the same tropes with different packaging. They think if they slap a different backstory on the new guy and give him a tragic smolder, we'll forget we've seen this before. But guess what? We notice, we remember, we care, and the most dangerous thing a showrunner can do, underestimate their audience. Because we're not just viewers, we're investors, emotionally, spiritually, fully. We've cried with Maggie, we've rooted for Cal, we've watched Sully heal, we've stayed loyal through every misstep, every stalled subplot, every painfully slow love realization. So don't give us another triangle and expect clause. Give us evolution. Give us courage. Give us something real. Hey DE for VEL. Roy TE is CTELE. Let me say it for all of us. We want Maggie to be free. To finally live a life she chooses. Cal to stand tall without begging for scraps of attention. Liam to be meaningful, not manipulative. If he's staying, he better bring more than just dimples and a ring. Sully to continue aging like wine, not get sidelined for cheap B plots. Edna, Frank, Lola, all the small town souls, to feel like people, not props. We want heart, not formulas. We want tension, not confusion. We want drama, but we want it to matter, because when it matters we feel, and when we feel, we stay. Think back to the strongest moments of the show: Maggie staring down the medical board, Sully's confrontation with his past, Cal waiting outside that cabin all night, refusing to leave her alone, Maggie performing impossible surgery on Edna with nothing but pressure, pain, and guts. Those moments had weight. They meant something. They weren't cheap. They weren't gimmicks. They were the spine of the story. And if season 4 wants to survive, it has to return to that spine, to that truth, to the heart of Sullivan's Crossing, the quiet beauty of healing, not just chaos. Because a triangle can entertain, I swear. If season 4 opens with Maggie wearing a wedding ring we've never seen before, while dramatic piano music plays and Liam says, "We need to talk," I'm throwing my laptop into the ocean, then swimming in after it, then throwing it again, then lighting sage to banish the triangle demon once and for all. CW, I'm begging you, don't Riverdale this. Okay, it's your turn. Your voice, your rage, your wisdom. I want you to light up the comments with this one question. If you were writing season 4, how would you handle Liam? Would you expose him as a fraud? Turn him into Maggie's final closure arc? Or make him a plot twist no one saw coming? Like he's actually there to reunite Sully with a long-lost sibling and not to steal Maggie's heart. This is your show now, your pen. Your voice. Let's write the better version. Together. Here's what it all comes down to. If Sullivan's Crossing season 4 breaks the cycle, it could become something legendary. But if it doesn't, it might join the long, painful list of shows that lost themselves chasing drama instead of story. So to the writers, the producers, the streaming gods at CW, do not underestimate us. We love this show, and that love demands better. Because we're not just here for the triangles, we're here for the heartbeats, the breakdowns, the breakthroughs. We're here for Maggie. And to every viewer out there feeling the same, hit that subscribe button right now. Not just for more breakdowns, but to be part of this movement. To demand smarter stories, deeper characters, and better endings. Because here at Breakdown Epic, we don't just watch TV, we see through it. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay savage, and please, if your ex ever shows up pretending to be your secret spouse, call a lawyer. Then call me, because I need details for the next breakdown. Love you always, Sophia from Breakdown Epic.